Hey guys, John, small town, small time bookseller, and I'm here with another video about some books that I managed to somehow sell on eBay, and that's pretty much what I do. I get books different places here and there, find them where I can, put them on eBay, sell them, and when that happens, I'll then come on here and I'll tell you all about it. That's my gig. That's what I do. I don't do the yard sale videos. I don't do garage sale videos. I don't do the GoPro with the Goodwill bins, looking at my hands like an extremely dashing girl, much more so than her daughter, who was pretty, of course, and clever in a way, but had none of her mother's, vividness. No, not these hands. No, 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 no. So, let's see, this video is going to cover January 11th through January 20th. And that was a pretty good time period because I had 40 sales, 39 books and one not a book. So I had some other things I wanted to show you, but with 39 sales, this may go kind of long, but there's a lot of really good sales in this. So sometimes we're heavy on the lower $10 to $20, and then I have a few upper ones. This one's kind of flipped. I've got a few $10 to $20, and probably over half of these are over $20 books. So sit back, relax, enjoy, see what you can find. See what you can find? No, see what you can get out of this. And hopefully it's something good, in fact. Yeah, so we're going to get into it, right? Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I'm kind of feeling a little rusty. You remember Little Rusty? Shad, yeah, you remember Little Rusty, don't you? Yeah, I was feeling him. Okay, here we go. So starting off, we had this one, Dream Interpretations Made Simple, $9.50. Great genre, dream interpretations. A lot of those kinds sell dream dictionaries. Anything like that will often sell, and this one, sure enough, did. Then we had the Collector's Guide to Dolls of the 60s and 70s. That sold for $10. Another good genre is anything collectible. Recently I sold like the Guide to Porcelain, or, Hot Wheels, or, there's all kinds of things that people collect just about anything, and there's probably going to be a guidebook for just about anything collectible. So if you find one, very often it will sell, depending on how volatile the market is. So baseball card guides, I used to get those when I was a kid. After a year, they're pretty much worthless because the values go up and down so drastically. But things like dolls from the 60s and 70s, probably that market's pretty much set. So, the values and things probably don't change, don't fluctuate too much, I would think. So, your best judgment on those. Field guide for the Canon EOS Rebel T2i sold for $10, and I think they're up to like the 7 or 8i. So this was an older camera, but people still like them. They use them. They need manuals to figure out how to use them better. So those will often sell as well. Then we had Ukrainian vocabulary for English speakers. I've sold a couple learning Ukrainian books. World events being what they are, and you have to see where the hotspots are in the world, and often those people need to learn languages. You have a lot of Ukrainian refugees. Got one in my school district, and so it's beneficial doing things like that happen. So when they were evacuating out of Afghanistan, I sold some books on learning Pashto and different languages from Afghanistan. And so wherever there's a hotspot in the world, you can often figure that books about that region, about that language, about that culture are probably gonna sell. So if you see Ukrainian to be good ones to pick up now, books in Ukrainian, books about Ukrainian, things like that. All right, next we had Moonwalk, Michael Jackson biography. This is a first edition. It sold for $10. You figure a book like that, even in a first edition, they probably printed millions. So it's not going to have that much value, even being a first edition. Next one, Process 50 Product Designs, sold for $10. And then we had one called Carnivore Code. Carnivore Code. That's harder to say. I hadn't said it out loud yet, but Carnivore Code sold for $10. You try it. carnivore quote. That's hard to say. Maybe it's just me. Sorry. That's over $10. I don't even know what it is. The next one was a novel. We don't sell a whole lot of fiction, but it did here. It's called Death of the Dervish, which sold for $12. And moving on, we got the Invitation to Sociological Theory, $12. Anything that's course related, college course related, any textbooks, things like that, are always worth looking up. You never know if something, even if it's older, some things are worthless once they're a few years old. Some things stay in place for many years, and then when they get old enough, then they become collectible. But this is something that's probably being used in a college class. Next, we had The Art of Renaissance Florence. So art books, I have very good luck with art books, actually. Not so much like the big picture tape, what do you call them, coffee table books, the big ones, but more, specific, Rembrandt drawings or specific artists, specific photographers, even ones I've never heard of before. Often will sell, and the ones you never heard of before, they're often signed. I find that to be true a lot. So I always want to look at those because somebody knows the person and would like his or her artwork and books about the pictures or the photographs or something. So always look up art books as well. Where are we at now? Okay, here's the Lees of Virginia. That sold for $15. That was from my aunt's collection, actually. And then we had another vintage book, Plastic Surgery of the Nose. This is from 1949. So several months ago, I found a big lot of books at the Goodwill bins from a doctor, and that had obviously donated all of his books. And so I got a bunch of them from the 40s, 50s, 60s, all on rhinoplasty and plastic surgery and things like that. And they're fascinating to look at. And I've sold a few of them. So that was one of from that collection. And moving on, we had the Contrarian Playbook. Forgot what that one was about, but it sold for $18.50. So if you see that one. And then another vintage book. This was called Champagne, and it came from 1962. I suppose champagne is a good genre, if you see books, especially a vintage one. That would actually, I could see where that could be interesting to someone who's really into collecting champagne or different types. And that sold for $20. All right. So we're at the $20 range now. We have Visual Anatomy and Physiology Lab Manual. Another college textbook, sold for $20. My One Not a Book is right here. Set of 8 is Enough DVD set, sold for $20. That came from my friend Lax in Portugal. That's one of his that he had. I need to list more of them. I've got a bunch of them that I haven't listed. They're still sitting right down there, and I just need to get to them because they're good stuff. This one sat for a long time, but it's kind of a cool book. It's another vintage book. I forget which year it was, called Italia Mia, Photos by Gina Lollobrigida. And that sold for $20. It wasn't in the best of shape, but this is in better shape. It probably goes for twice that. But I still got $20 for it. Where are we going next? Oh, this is a book in Spanish. Adolf Hitler's Mi Lucha. Mi Lucha would be what, my fight? Is that what lucha is, my fight? Something like that. So that was a $20 book. Then another fiction book, Boston Jackie, sold for $20. That one went internationally to Canada. And then another, I don't know if this was a textbook or just someone interested in the subject, but Introducing Buddhism, 2nd edition, sold for $20. And then we had another foreign language book. This one is in Japanese, and it was called Shinsengumi. And I forget what it had absolutely no English on it or whatsoever. I've studied some Japanese, but not like the kanji and stuff, so I really could not read the title. I didn't know what it meant. So I didn't see any. I tried to do an image search on eBay, couldn't find anything. Did an image search on Amazon and found the book there. That's what I based my price on, and it also had an English title. And so it was like Blood and Wine. So I can't remember exactly what it was, but I used whatever was in the Amazon title, and I put it in mine with their romanization of the title, I guess, is that Shinsengumi. And so that's how I decided to price it, I based it off of Amazon, a little below. And then I also used their information on it because I really couldn't see much on it. I think I did a Google, you can go Google Translate, but you never know exactly, especially with Asian character languages like Chinese and Japanese. It may not be exactly right. And so I didn't want to trust using Google Translate on something like that. If it's a Latin-based language and you're doing Google Translate, it's usually pretty accurate. Often it is. But beyond that, I personally don't trust it. The next one, American Math Competition. This was 2 books, volumes 4 and 6, which I had listed separately, but somebody bought them both, and I was able to combine the shipping on those, and so I made it into one sale for $20 for those 2 books. And I think I had them listed $15 each, but they wanted both, and so I gave them the discount on both of them. Next, we have the Ultimate Essentials Oils Guide, Total Wellness, $22.50. This was nice. It had a big gash on the cover, which was, you couldn't miss it. And so I had to put that in the title just to make sure that they knew, see description or damage. I forget exactly how I had it put, but then I explained it and made sure I had good photographs of the damage on the book. But it still sold for $22.50. Next one, Unlocking English Learners' Potentials, $22.50 for that one. This was, I actually got this at work, and there's a bunch of books that were older. We weren't going to use them. They were literally going to be thrown away, and so I kept them, and I have a box in the garage. I'm hoping that this will start selling several of them because I have a bunch. But that was $22.50 for that book. This is a good genre also. The Kawasaki Service Manual for 1996 to 2005 Vulcan 500. So OEM manuals, any kind of repair manuals, even like Chilton guides and things like that, Haynes guides, they often sell, even in terrible oily condition, they will sell. And this one sold for $24.95. Next one sold within a day or two, and I probably could have got more. This was the Faviken Magnus Nilsson Phaedon Cookbook. And there were listed for quite a bit higher. I don't recall that there were any sold, and I think that's why I listed it for less. But it still sold for $27 and quickly. So I probably could have gotten more for that. But that was a good cookbook to look out for. I don't know. I'm just judging by the name. I'm guessing it's some Scandinavian type of cookbook, but I really don't remember looking inside to seeing exactly what it was. I could be wrong on that. Here's study guides. ASWB Master's Exam, sold for $27.50. Yet another fine genre, study guides. People need them. They got to study. They don't know what they're doing. Nobody does. Nobody. They got to figure that kind of stuff out. And then I sold, this is like the last of my value tales books. So often I'll go to the Goodwill bins and there's just a bunch of value tales books. I always pick them up, 3 for $1. So this was a lot of, how many was in this lot? A lot of 12. So 3 for $1, that would have been, I spent $4 on it, sold it for $30. But I'd had, this is my smallest lot that I'd had. I'd gotten 2 other lots. They will sell, those value tales books. So put them in a lot, and yeah, good luck with those. Next ones came from the military aircraft lot that I picked up at Goodwill bins, about 100 military aircraft books that have been selling very well. There's 2 of them that sold in this lot, the A4AB Skyhawk and the F94 Cougar. Together sold for $35. Again, combined shipping, combined those into one sale. Somebody bought 2 of them. Actually, I just sold a lot of 4 just like a couple days ago, so that'll be in a future video, but those are still selling pretty well. Intro to Deaf Culture sold for $35. That's another good genre, is anything related to deaf culture. This one, I guess, is probably a textbook. Gateways to Art, Understanding the Visual Arts, sold for $35.50. Must have taken an offer on that one because I usually don't put things up at 50 cents on them. And I don't ever do sales, so must have been an offer. And then we have Elementary Linear Algebra with Student Solutions, sold for $40. All right, we're getting it up there. Now we're in the $40 range. So, oh, here's another military aircraft book. H53 Sea Stallion sold for $40 for just one book. So I have really made a lot of money on those books. I wish I would have even gotten more. There's actually more that I left there in the bin. I didn't get all of them. Next one is Analysis Grand. No, what does it say? Grand Studies in Math. Grand? Is that what it says? I can't read my own writing. Some kind of studies in math. Sold for $45. Math books, man. Here's another. Stats for Managers using Microsoft Excel. Stats for managers using Microsoft Excel. It sounds fascinating, doesn't it? But it sounds like if something that somebody might actually need, and that's sold for $50. And here's another, and this was a more vintage book, An Intro to Combustion, sold for $50. And, oh, this is a fun one. This is a Clifford Brown complete transcription. So this Clifford Brown is a trumpet player, and this was an actual note-for-note transcriptions of his solos. And I sold that for $60. And then the person who bought it messaged and said they'd been looking for it. They had it in college and had been looking for it ever since. So we're just thrilled to actually find it. So I was pretty happy to be able to provide that. But jazz music, often learning music, like, what do you call it? Like the actual, you know what I'm trying to say. The actual music sheets will often sell. Learning music will often sell. Jazz things will sell as well. In fact, the next one is also related to jazz. And this was the cover art of Blue Note Records. So Blue Note is a famous jazz record label. And these were pictures of the covers of a lot of the albums. And it was a beautiful book. And it sold for $70, and I saw listings higher than that. I think even in Amazon, they're higher than that. So I may have gotten, not a whole lot. I think I would price it pretty well. I might have even taken an offer on that one. In fact, I think I did. I think I had it at $99 and ended up taking an offer of $70 on it. But that's a great book to find. This one sat for a little bit. I featured this on another video, and this was Magic's Touch, which was a biography of Magic Johnson signed by Magic Johnson, and that sold for $80. And then the big sale of the week was not a real interesting book, but you see it, you gotta pick it up because it's gonna sell. Basic Training Manual of Healthcare Security Officers sold for $110. I had somebody message me a few months ago asking why I was selling this book, basically. And I was like, why not? And he said he was in that business and he knew that this would sell nowhere near that amount. You could get them for $20 online. And he was real nice about it. He seemed really sincere. He wasn't actually trying to buy it. He was like just telling me, hey, I don't know what you're thinking. And so I asked him, I said, can you give me a website where I could see that? And the website he sent me to did not have this version. They had older versions and they had slightly different things. So I kind of messaged back and I was like, I don't see this one. So you could be right. I'm going to go ahead and leave it up for a while. I appreciate the information. Yeah, so it eventually did sell for $110. So that was my big sale of the week. So where does that leave us? 39 books for a total of $1,123.95. $29.33 average, which is well above my made up and completely arbitrary goal of $25 average. So that was a really good sales time period there. My one not a book, I was going for a nice even number. I knew I had a lot of books for sale, so I was like, you know what? Let's make our goal for not a book something nice and even. Let's just say $20. Right? And then so lo and behold, the one DVD sold for $20. Nailed it. So that was nice. This has been around 19 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I was planning to. That went a little more quickly than I thought it might. So couple interesting things I picked up at the Goodwill bins the other day I wanted to share with you. This one here. This is Mackey's Revised Encyclopedia of Freemasonry Volume 1. Is there anyone out there that would not have picked this up? Probably not, right? Looks awesome. It's from 1958, and it's in very good condition. I have flipped through it very, very with a fine-tooth comb, hoping to find, you know, all kinds of magical things in there, and I did not. But it's still, this is, there's the original version was 1929. If you find the 1929 version, lots of money. This one is from the 50s. This is the revised, and the revised one came out after World War II, and this one is like a fourth printing, which is like in 1950s at some point. Still, this volume one, I think it's a 3-volume set. There's listed from between $30 up to $100. So I looked for so long hoping to find a volume 2 or volume 3 or something else, and I never did, but it was probably there somewhere. But this is kind of an obvious pickup. I think everyone would agree with that, right? And then this one might not be quite so obvious. 101 Hand Puppets. Now, by Richard Cummings, A Guide for Puppeteers of All Ages. This particular one is X-Library, which hurts its value. And it is from 1966, and it is a 4th printing. First editions of this, now, there aren't any solds, but the listed versions of this, $100 to $150 for a first edition of this. There are 3rd and 4th editions, like I've got here, for $20 or so. So I think most people would think between the two, this would be a better, and this probably will sell actually before this one does. But if this was a first edition, at least what I found on it was pretty good. So I just wanted to share that with you, that sometimes little things like that could be surprisingly valuable. I think I'll probably put mine up for probably around $20. The Freemasonry book, I don't know. I'm going to have to still go back and look and see. I think I saw a sold version of this one for around $30, so I may put it there. I'll have to look to see what's still listed, because I might be able to go a little bit higher. Volume 1 seemed to be a better seller than Volume 2 by itself, or Volume 3 by itself. 2 of them together, or all 3 together, then you're looking at $150, $200. That might have been the 1929 version. So again, I got to kind of go back and look. Was that the revised one that this is, or was that the original one? So anyhow, that was fun to find that. And I think that's all I've got for today. I'm going to hopefully catch up, you know, next week. We'll see you again. And yeah, I think that's it for me. So you all, hope you're just selling the heck out of a bunch of stuff. Good luck to you. And I'll talk to you next time. Adios.